Hey guys, it's Viewmaster's Reactions, and we're back with another moment from The Legend of Vox Machina. This one from episode 1? No, this was episode 2. Episode 2, The Rise of Vasselheim. And this right here, if you didn't notice, I figured so much from the last clip. When we did the bidet origins, we saw this image. I, for a second, was like, who the hell is that? Right after it, we saw Marisha in very dirtied up clothes, almost like a steampunk outfit, but I'm assuming she was Bo, just dirty. I don't know, because I'm assuming they dressed up for whatever reason, and Matt Mercer was Victor. And it was confirmed later in the comments, this is Victor, the black powder merchant, who blows up at the end of episode 2. I don't know if he dies. I'm guessing by the fact that Matt Mercer is missing hair and covered in soot and what looks like a man that came out of an explosion. I'm assuming Victor survives. Let's just jump in. We'll see what we got here. It's about 5.5 minutes from the original campaign, the comparison of meeting Victor for the first time in campaign 1, Critical Role. So let's do that, The Legend of Vox Machina. And then we'll talk more at the end. This was another clip given to me by Malamute. If other people sent me the link, I apologize, but this is the one I saw first. I jumped on, I figured let me do it before the arcade tonight. You guys want to see more of what I do, full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons out of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. The link is at the end. If the link doesn't work, it's in the description of every video. Click the link for Patreon. You'll see hundreds of shows, hundreds of movies. We have The Legend of Vox Machina season 1 and 2 up in full. An hour Patreon exclusive of every episode of Campaign 2. We're doing the Mighty Nine right now. The Last of Us is on Sundays. Person of Interest, Doctor Who, Peaky Blinders, all these other shows started over on Patreon, exclusive to there. Check it out. If not, we're jumping in. Victor, the black powder merchant. Vox Machina origins.
You come to the door, and it's a very, very simple, kind of slovenly kept house. The wood itself is a little warped from the weather. It hasn't kept well, and there's kind of a musty smell of mildew from the outside of the building, but you see a slight glow.
This goes way back.
Apparently there's some sort of interior light.
I also noticed in one of the other ones...
Yes? Oh. Charming.
Eric from Boy Meets World was one of the voice actors.
Percival Frederick Stein von Musa Kowalski de Rolle III.
Huzzah!
Thank you.
Yes.
I was sent to you. I was sent here in terms to hopefully negotiate the purchase of some black powder. I've heard that
the door slams open at this point, mid-sentence, and you see from around the corner
black powder.
A very lithe, crooked-looking man, quite elderly, but very spry for his size. You'd see his arms and legs are very lanky and almost spider-like in the way they move and shift as he peeks out. And you can see he has spectacles of 2 different sizes and thickness around each eye. His hair's kind of frazzled and gray and white. He goes, yes!
Oh.
You said you need black powder! Yes, come in! And he runs back into the hovel.
Oh my god, that's red line and everything.
I gingerly enter this.
As you step inside, the scent hits you immediately, and you realize
he redlined the shit.
This place is probably filled with black powder, and the last thing anyone wants is to set off any sort of flame. This would be a very bad idea. And as you look around, your eyes adjust to the low-lit interior. You realize it's low-lit because there are 2 very, very faintly set magical torch sconces on each side that are very, very low light.
Very similar to the ones surrounding you.
Kind of like these, but even smaller. And you can see in the room, there was a small forge that's kind of in disuse to the far end.
My god, Laura looks so young.
There are a large number of crates and barrels that all seem to be containing various parts of discarded gravel. Basically, whatever is kind of shoved off of any mining expedition goes to him, and he just shuffles through it and kind of separates it in different pieces. And there's barrels full of sulfur. There's barrels full of
shitloads of donations.
What looks like broken kind of onyx or broken quartz, and they're all been separated. And you can see now this is kind of his OCD collection. And there is indeed in the far end what looks to be a barrel that contains a large amount of black powder that is just everywhere. It's like this very fine coat.
Matt is making it a point to be like, black powder is everywhere. You can see now his hands himself are black. We know what happened, or I know what happened.
Oh, you came looking for black powder, did you? No one asked about the black powder, but I knew it had a purpose.
Crazy lunatic.
You wish to buy it? How much do you want? Speak up! Speak up! I haven't all day.
How much for a barrel or a hogshead's worth?
For the barrel. The barrel.
Percy is so caught off. It's like we're being rushed and panicked.
4,623 gold pieces for the barrel. However, for a hogshead...
You can see now there's spittle dribbling down his chin.
It's as if I can see this.
I have to look at the picture while I imagine it.
For the hogshead.
Spitting.
And he turns around and like shovels through a bunch of pieces of burlap and sack and pulls out what looks to be an actual dried and hollowed out hogshead.
To fill this hogshead with it, this will only cost you 426 gold pieces.
426 to fill a hollowed out hogshead with black powder.
How about 400 even, and you can direct me to some ore as well?
Done.
Ore? I do not work in ore.
I thought you might have a friend.
400 even's a good deal. I think 400 even's a good deal. You know I love my negotiations.
No, that's yeah. I love Percy. 25.
25.
I'm sure you have a friend.
I still feel like it's really
you seem so amiable.
400. 400, I send you to Samson. Yes, you take?
My good sir, you have a deal.
400.
He turns around and jams the head into the barrel of black powder, picks it up. The soot kind of settles against you and the rest of you guys as you now find yourself partially covered in this slowly dissipating cloud of black powder. You cough instinctively.
I don't know how. I mean, I'm curious to see exactly what happens in the campaign.
I gingerly put the purse down in front of me.
He takes it with a whisk. It's already put away into a side pouch, and you hear the clanging of kind of haphazard coins in his far pocket.
Yeah.
In episode 2, it went to black, and the explosion went off.
This way!
And he grabs your arm and drags you out of his hovel. He points across the way with this kind of shaking, crooked thing.
A man.
Samson, there! In the brick building! I tell him, Victor sends you. He'll give you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of your help. You've been so kind.
Oh, my pleasure. You want more powder? Come back.
I might do that.
Good. Goodbye.
And pushes you out, takes both of you by the arms and pushes you out, slams the door behind, and you are left kind of standing there half covered in blackened soot and black powder in the center of the thoroughfare midday. Kind of stunned by the whole encounter.
I mean, come on. Amazing. Oh, no, fuck off. Amazing. Come on.
Quality. One of the best. Way better than I imagined from the show. But the show was great, too.
Become very excited at the prospect of a new accent.
6.2, 6.4, 6.5. Amazing.
4.3 from the Russian judge.
That's it. That went so incredibly fast. I saw it was 5.5 minutes, and I'm like, oh, we got like a solid video here. Not that there's anything wrong with the shorter ones, but the other ones were barely 2 minutes. So I'm like, oh, we got 3 times the length. I thought we were going to get in depth with the explosion, possibly see Matt Mercer like this. I even half thought maybe we were going to get like a bunch of clips, how like the bidet thing did a montage of all the bidets throughout however long that went. I've got to assume that was through most of campaign 1, not all of it, but most of it, a good part of it. I thought we might get several victors, but we got one run of Matt Mercer talk about loud. I apologize if it blew your ears off. I tried to turn it down accordingly, but Matt Mercer was screeching at the top of his lungs. I had to kill it because I thought there was going to be an explosion. We never got the explosion. When is Matt looking like this? Because I have to assume if Matt dressed up and looked like this, that there had to have been another incident with Victor where the explosion went off. Because right there, we didn't see the explosion go off. But in the show, it went to black. I forget exactly what happened. I got to go back and rewatch it. But Percy did his business. Percy was on his way out, and then something like rattled loose or something fell, and it was like, boom. And it went to dark, and we just jumped right into episode 3, and we never saw Victor again. So I got to assume that Victor shows up more than once, and that scene we saw in episode 2 was maybe a combination of a couple meetings of Victor. Otherwise, they just improvised and they blew up his shop with him in it. But him looking like this leads me to believe he has to blow up at some point and survive and live. The dude is crazy. They all applauded. I concur. One of the best we've seen of Matt. Matt does great voices, but not as often do we see the physical comedy, like the animatedness that he just had there. Usually it's just a really awesome voice, and he'll do mannerisms and stuff, but that was the most physical I've seen him. He was all over the place. Like crazy. And I loved it. Everything was great. Everyone applauded. Everyone looked so young. We even have Orion over here. Tiberius, was it? Something like that. I've never seen campaign 1, so I really don't know. Hence why I'm reacting to the origin moment. So There we go with the origin of Victor Malamute. Thank you. Like I've said before, you guys have any you think I'd be interested in that aren't spoilerific, throw them my way. I'll react to them. I'll give you a shout out. Malamute's 2 for 2. I appreciate everything you guys do. You guys want to see more of what I do? Full unedited episodes of all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. The link is in front of me. If the link doesn't work, in the description below is a link for Patreon. Go click it. Every week, we're doing all 3 episodes of Vox Machina. That night, I throw them all up on Patreon as soon as I watch them in full unedited. Then I edit them up for YouTube. So in about 2 days, we'll be reacting to the next 3 episodes, 4, 5, and 6. Legend of Vox Machina. Sundays is The Last of Us. Over on Patreon, we have hundreds of exclusive shows and movies. Go check it out. We just started Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Peaky Blinders, Black Butler, The Legend of Korra. Eureka is an amazing show. We just finished season 1 recently, or should be soon. Check it out. Hundreds of others, all in full, unedited. If not, comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.